That's yeah, that's what it was. I'm hitting because we're not actually streaming.
No.
At least not. I mean, we'll get around to it. Okay, that was me being
Eventually,
dumb.
yeah.
Okay, now I'm gonna do it right. I'm a professional.
So
I guess we're just gonna talk about whatever then, since this is trash talk and it's not professional like the normal stuff we do.
Yep, basically we're gonna just talk about anything really.
That means we can talk about the Steam sales.
Oh yeah, the Steam sales. Yeah.
Steam sale. Put up that meme for the actual video when you put it up on Steam.
Oh, the old versus young.
Yeah, just do that. That should just be the title picture because that essentially describes where I'm at with Steam.
Yeah. I mean, like, I don't know. There are some games I see on the Steam sale that actually look kind of interesting.
I'm not saying I won't buy any games from the fall Steam sale, but I just have so many games. I've been on Steam for like a decade, and I've reached that point now that it's just like, unless it's something I really am super excited to play, like right now, I can just wait it out.
Hey Terry, what did you do your Steam nominations?
I've done a couple of them, but it's kind of annoying.
Yeah, it's hard. Like I was struggling to fill out all of them.
Well, some of them it felt kind of easy. I'm like, okay, this game was really good. I enjoyed it, but then some of them it's kind of like, outstanding visual style award. I'm like, I don't know.
And the worst part of it is like when I was doing my nominations, it like had up like I think like the first 4 games that I played the most so far this year as nominations, and I'm just like, well, where's like they normally do like an actual list for each category. But no, they didn't do that this year. You actually had to search for games, and it's like, well, half these games I never even like played. So, what the hell, Steam?
Well, it's annoying because you'll go to type it in, and then you're trying to remember what the name of the game is, and then then Steam's like, no, there isn't a game called that, and you're like, ah, shit.
And like,
okay, let's try this again.
Yeah, and like with like the category Better with Friends award, I wanted to put down Among Us, but that wasn't an option. Like, that game is better with friends.
I put down Sea of Thieves.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
I don't know if you ever played that with us. I thought it's something you don't want to. That's a game you don't want to play alone. But
I didn't play on PC. I've played on Xbox though.
But yeah, Steam sales are happening. But I might pick up one or two. I might, but I'm gonna probably wait for the winter sales. Like spring and fall sales always kind of feel like they're like Steam's just like, we should do these, but nobody really cares. They don't put the same kind of effort into these sales like they do for the summer and winter sales.
Yeah, like I prefer the winter sales because it seems like it's way better deals and bigger discounts.
It's kind of late to be doing an autumn sale, isn't it?
A little bit, yeah.
Like it's from the 5th of November to December 1st, and then it's like we all know they're going to do the winter sale for Christmas. So it's like in less than a month we're going to have another big sale for winter, and it just seems kind of like strange. I feel like this should have been done like closer to like in October for like Halloween.
Right, like they should have had their fall sale from like October to like mid-November, close to end November, and then go into their winter sale.
Well, if you notice, the sale's like a week, so it would have made more sense to do it like the last week in October, and then just make like the fall sale, and then they could have had some of like the scary stuff for Halloween mixed in with it.
Right.
But that's just all I would have done. What do I know? I don't make billions of dollars.
You know what's kind of bullshit? Like I think it was yesterday. I was going through like all the categories, trying to like find a game that would just interest me in playing in general. And they, every time I look at their horror game list, it's never that good. Like they don't have many good horror games, and it pisses me off.
I just don't think that they make. I think it's hard to make a good horror game. It really is.
Like I'm sorry, but Hello Neighbor, I don't consider that a horror game. But it's classified and tagged as a survival horror.
Like I said, there's a lot of games out there like Fear. The Fear games are supposed to be scary.
Yeah,
I've never found them remotely scary.
They're scary if you're playing it and you're a little kid, but as an adult, it's just like, oh, girl that's on fire. Ooh, scary. Guess they've never seen The Ring before, or The Grudge. Little fucking ghost-like girls aren't that scary.
Yeah, like I said, it's difficult to make a good scary video game. Although VR has definitely changed that. There's some really good VR games that are super scary.
Oh yeah, I do have a few horror games that are on PlayStation that are VR compatible, and I would like to do one like for like my channel or this channel, but like I have to figure out how to fucking record it.
Like hook it up and everything.
Yeah.
And then you look like an idiot. Like no one looks amazing when they do like VR games and you see them playing. Everyone looks like a retard.
But then again, I have been told that there is a way that I can set up my PlayStation VR to my computer and use it through Steam. Use it for Steam games. I just don't know how yet.
I didn't know you could do that. That's really awesome if you can like hook all that up.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to find the one website I use that I was looking into it, and actually try to get it to work, because I tried it once before and it just didn't want to work properly.
Yeah, sounds shitty, but yeah, if you get that to work, that'd be pretty awesome.
Because like there are so many games that I want to play that are in VR, and I know my computer could handle it.
Well, yeah, I built this one a couple months ago. I was just like, ooh, my VR is going to be better, because my old computer could handle VR, but I could definitely tell there were certain games at certain points. I know I was losing frames.
What did you do with your old computer?
It's laying around my house.
And how old is that one?
It's like 5 years old. Maybe 6.
What kind of RAM is in it?
DDR3.
Okay.
Back to the Steam.
Ah, yes, back to Steam.
Back to Steamness.
I forget, did you happen to mention if there's any Steam games that actually caught your eye during the sale?
I have a really long wish list. Like, my wish list has over like 200 games in it. 255. Dude. Like, if it just looks remotely interesting, I'm like, I'll put it on the wish list.
I have 14.
You goddamn peasants. You filthy council peasants. That's what you are. You're a filthy council peasant. Like, next you're gonna tell me you only own like 10 Steam games.
Hold on, I'll check. I actually own 29.
I mean, it's slightly better than I was expecting.
Did they take that achievement name from like Markiplier or something? Because like the achievement 25 plus games is called Sharp-Eyed Stockiplier.
Oh, that's definitely a Markiplier reference.
Okay.
That is definitely that's Steam being Steam right there.
So I just know, like, I never actually looked at the name of the achievement or badge or whatever. I'm just like, I just see, 25 plus. Okay, cool.
You know, I checked my profile. It says 10 years of service. I've been on Steam for 10 years. No wonder why I'm so
I'm
old
at
and
9.
embittered. So old and embittered. 35% average game completion rate. Cool. For me, I guess. I don't know what that means. Guess achievements. I do collect a lot of achievements. Anything else interesting? You never asked me how many games I owned, Billy.
How many games do you own, Terry?
Well, you can take a guess. We'll see how close you get.
I want to say now is this downloaded or just in general?
That I just own that are from Steam. I don't keep a lot of them downloaded on my computer.
I want to say you at least own 300 plus.
That is correct. I own 319 games on Steam.
Because last time I talked to you, you were telling me how you got, at one point, you got like 2 bundles that were like the equivalent of like, I think like 200 some games. And that was like a few years back.
No, they're definitely I don't think Steam really does those bundles like they used to, but when they were still doing bundles, they would have like all the games from like a particular game developer. And that could add up to, well, there might be like 30, 40 games depending on how big the developer was. And they kind of added up after a while.
See, I wish I could get to that point where I owned like a lot of games. I mean, I still could, just because I think there are some games I'm kind of interested in, and I could honestly just get them like right the fuck away because they're like $5 or so.
Oh, because of the sales. Like for instance, like the BioShock games, I believe were all part of I believe there was a bundle at one point. I was able to get all them pretty easily.
Yeah, like it. I've been thinking about getting some. Well, I wanted to actually get some games for this sale, but I ended up having to pay my cell phone bill, and then I got Pizza Hut.
Oh, Pizza Hut, and Pizza Hut, McDonald's.
Yeah, so like that kind of squashed my hopes of getting hitting this autumn sale.
Sad.
But then again, the Pizza Hut was entirely my idea, so kind of kicking myself for that one. So hey, Terry.
Mm-hmm.
Would you possibly consider getting Phasmophobia?
I don't even know what Phasmophobia is.
It's a ghost hunting game. It's on Steam for like $12 right now.
It's a 4-player online co-op psychological horror.
And it's VR support, so if you wanted to, you could play it with your VR.
That's interesting. That's very interesting.
I haven't played a whole lot of it. I've only played about 4 hours of it, and like it's very in depth, and so like I actually kind of enjoy it, and it can get scary.
Yeah, it's only released a couple months ago, and it's already got over 100,000 overwhelmingly positive reviews. So
yeah, like I don't know. I think it's a good game, and it'd probably even be kind of fun to do on the channel.
Strange voices and sounds are appearing in my room. Yeah, it sounds interesting. Like I think that would work.
Ooh.
We should do like a 7 Days to Die game.
Ooh,
at some point.
Yeah, I agree. I'd have to buy it though. Not sure how much it actually is.
You don't own it for Steam?
No, I have it on PlayStation though.
It was on sale a couple months ago.
It's only fucking $8.49.
Oh, was it on sale?
66% off.
Nice. I should mention to the guys.
Or I can get their 7 Days to Die 2-pack. I'm not sure what the 2-pack is.
I'm assuming you get it for yourself and you give the second one to your friend.
Maybe. Let's find out. Maybe. I don't know.
Because yeah, I got it when it was on sale a while back. Because Kyle was all like, "We should all play it together," and I was like, "That sounds great." And then I was like, "Oh, I'm not going to pay that price because that like what is it? It's like $30 or $40 at full price."
It's $25 at full price.
I enjoy the game, but it's one of those games that I'm kind of like, I don't know if it's worth $25. So I wait for sales.
Okay, that's more. Like I was like looking at the friends that already own this game, and like at first I scrolled over your like picture, and it said Steam level was 0, and I'm like, that's not fucking right. I'm gonna add this to my cart.
Yeah, I know Trav. I know it's on Trav's list of things that he's considered buying, but he hasn't. Kyle will play it with us. We can play it. All three of us can play it together. It'll be funny. He'll freak out. He'll totally freak out. He can't handle the zombies. He can't handle anything scary.
Who, Trev?
I said
Or
Kyle.
Oh, Kyle.
Be great. You know what can be scary? Alien versus Predators.
Ooh. I think I know what one of our next discussions will be. Alien AVP.
Oh boy, that would be pretty good. We can do all those movies.
Now, the one thing I want to know, what the hell is up with the Steam points?
Oh, that's something that they like implemented last year. That's a new like Steam thing that they came up with, or was it? Maybe it was even at the beginning of this year when you buy and
Because like
and stuff,
I have
like
23,000 points, and it like what I can use them on just look fucking pointless.
Well, the thing is, it essentially looks at everything all the games you've brought over the years and everything, and then it gives you how many points, and then you can use it to buy stuff.
Now, it'd be kind of awesome if
Use the points to buy things.
Like it'd be kind of awesome if like these points could like been put towards like you save up enough and put it towards like getting an actual game or like getting a game discounted, you know.
I think they used to do, if I remember correctly, used to have stuff like that, but people figured out ways to essentially abuse that system.
So then they got
to like
rid
give
of it.
themselves like infinite amount of like points. And Blizzard's like, oh no, you got to put it into this. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at there.
Yeah, like I'm in the points shop right now, and it just I don't know.
Like I said, you also get like the animated stickers and stuff. So if you're talking to people for some unknown reason, actually using like the Steam chat, I don't know who does that, but apparently some people do.
Right, like the Steam chat has kind of become obsolete after, you know, Discord became a thing and all of that.
Yeah, I think everyone essentially uses Discord nowadays, or some of the other. There's a couple other ones out there that people like to use to talk. But Steam's never given it up, and I suppose for those people that still use the Steam chat,
Yeah,
you also get like frames for and like avatars and stuff for like your profile to spiff it up.
Huh. Weird.
Like I said, it's just more like some cosmetic things.
Whoa, 7 Days to Die is that small of a game?
Well, I mean, it was pretty much. I believe there was one guy that did it originally, and I think he was just by himself, and then he eventually sold it to a small game company. I might be misremembering, but I think that's how it went. And then there was a small project with like 2 or 3 guys, and they took it over and been improving the game.
There was one game I got. I can't remember
So
if it
yeah,
was.
it's a very indie game. So it makes sense that it's not very big.
There's one game I got a while back. I'm not sure if it was on this current account that I'm on or if it's on my other one. But it was like kind of similar to like DayZ and 7 Days to Die. But then it was an early access game. Like shit, I think this was like 7 years ago now. And like they stopped working on it completely because I don't know if they just ran out of money or what, but apparently you can still actually get into the game and there's like nothing there. There's just ground, buildings, trees, but there's like nothing else there. I wish I could fucking find it. I don't know why I want to find it, but I do.
But yeah, it happens.
The Dead Lingering.
The Dead Lingering. It could have been huge. So I'm looking at my list and I see I have like I have Fable 3 and I have the original Fable, but I don't have Fable 2.
Really?
Yeah, it's really weird. I wonder how that ended up happening.
Because normally most people they liked Fable 1 and Fable 2, but absolutely hated Fable 3. And
I don't get why people hated Fable 3.
I don't either. I actually loved Fable 3.
Yeah, I know a lot. I was getting a lot of shit when it first came out. And it was really funny because it felt like it was very split. Like half the people were like, "Oh, it's too hard. This game is way too hard. It's too hard." And then half the people are like, "Oh my god, this game is way too easy. It's too easy. This game is too easy. Why is the game so easy?" And I'm just like, I love it. I love it. Half the community says it's too easy. Half the community just says it's too hard.
I don't know. I never found it to be hard.
I thought it was relatively easy too. It amazed me when I heard people say that, like, "Oh, it's too difficult to save everyone in on the continent. Like, you just end up having everyone die by the end of the game, and you can't be good." And I'm just like, oh my god, people are dumb and don't know how to play this game. Like, I easily got the good ending.
Oh, same here, because I'm like, once I realized what was gonna happen, once I got into power, I'm just like, all right, well, gonna buy this house, gonna buy this house, gonna buy this house, gonna buy that house.
Yeah,
I went
that's all
to
you had to
every
do.
fucking town, bought all the houses, put them all up for rent, and by the time I got on the throne, like I had enough gold to where I could be nice to everybody and still save the continent.
If I'm correctly, Angry Joe really shit on it that time.
Oh yeah, he did. He
said it, he was one of the ones that was saying the game was too hard and it was impossible to save anybody. And I'm just like, Joe, filthy casual, filthy casual, Joe.
Yeah.
That he literally let because like everyone died in my game, and I'm like, Joe, what the hell are you doing? Because it wasn't that hard. If you didn't even really have to grind that much, like you said, you just get the ball rolling by buying up housing until eventually you just become the landlord of the entire continent, and then you just have all the money in the world, and then it just doesn't really matter.
Yep, and then on top of that, at the time there was still like I think it was with shit, I forget, like it was one of the augmentation stones. Like there's a way to actually duplicate it, and this augmentation stone, like it sold for a lot of fucking gold. And if you did it just right, you could dupe it 2 or 3 times in a day. Then you'd have to wait a day, and then you could do it again, and you could just keep selling it and buying it back and selling it and buying it back. And it's like you make a lot of. I was able to make a lot of gold that way as well.
I think some of the exploits came out after the game and about for a bit, and Joe had reviewed it like super early when it first came out. And I saw his complaints, but the thing is, I'd also brought the game because I really enjoyed the Fable series, and I'd played through it. So when Joe was like talking about how hard it was and everything, I'm like, what is Joe talking about? Like, that game was super easy. It's just something I've never forgotten, even after all these years, because that was the moment I lost faith in Angry Joe.
Yeah, like
that was the moment.
I remember
it really was. Like, how can you be that lazy? How can you like, oh yeah, I'm gonna review this game, watch me play it for like 10 hours and then beat it, and then be like, I wasn't able to save any run. I'm like, well, that's because you just power rushed through the whole game, Joe. That's why you weren't able to save anyone. You did not stop to smell the flowers at all.
No, like when I play those games, especially the Fable series, like I will sit down and like I'll progress far enough into the main story to where I have like areas unlocked that I need unlocked, and then I'll just go through and I'll do all of the side missions that are available at the time, just so then I bring up that rep and people like me, or if I want to be evil, people hate me, one of the two, but I make sure I do everything in an area before I move on to the next. And that way I'm guaranteed all the money, and I have like all the houses I need purchased and rented out and whatnot. And
yeah, like I said, I liked all three games. I've never been able to quite understand the hatred for the third game.
like honestly, like if anything, like the second game is the game I didn't much care for. Because like honestly, I barely remember the second game. The only thing I remember out of it is some blind chick helping you.
It wasn't the first game, the original Fable, that it was your sister.
Yeah.
And she was blind.
But then in the second game, there was this like sorceress lady that I swear to God she was blind, and then she ended up being fucking evil.
Yeah, honestly, I remember the second game the least amount as well. I do remember the first and third game more than I remember the second game also.
That's because the first and third were a hell of a lot more memorable. I honestly feel that the second one was more or less just a cash grab because the first game did so well. And then the second game got the most backlash, and everybody just wanted to wanted a better Fable game, so they made Fable 3, and then apparently everybody's like, oh, Fable 2 is better than Fable 3. What the fuck?
Honestly, some of us rose tinted glasses. You go back and you play the original Fable, it has a lot of like bugs and shit in it that are really annoying. It's a game that I love despite its flaws, but there were definitely some issues with the original Fable. And then they made like the Game of the Year edition, which fixed some of those issues, but it still had some problems. But yeah, like Fable 2.
Yeah, like
very unrememberable.
Yeah, I barely remember. Are you looking forward to Fable? Or, yes. Well, as it's called, Fable.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the new game.
Kind of pisses me off that they're just calling it not Fable 4. They're not giving it a fucking title. Calling it Fable.
Yeah, that's not going to confuse anybody at all when you start talking about the Fable franchise.
Nope. Not gonna confuse
pretty normal bullshit for game developers to sit there and name the fourth game in a franchise Fable. When the first game was actually, I think the first game was it just straight out called Fable, or was it, I think there was like something below it. It was Fable and then blah 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 below it.
No, I think the first game was just called Fable.
Gosh, I want to say there was like a subtitle below the original game of some kind, but let me Google it.
I can't remember.
Fable game, because I know when they did the because there's the anniversary edition, but then there's also Fable Lost Chapters.
Yeah, Fable Lost Chapters, which is technically like an expansion to Fable.
I don't know. It's
because
so weird.
It added like, more with Jack of Blades.
Found the wiki, the Fable series. Okay. And the first Fable, yeah, I'm pretty sure the first one is literally just called Fable. Yeah, and then that other stuff was just extras. Oh, Fable 2 takes place 500 years after the events of the first game. I didn't even know that.
No, neither did I.
I didn't realize it was that long, because like they're like, you're a descendant of the hero from the first game, and I was like, okay, so what? Like that was like my dad or something. I didn't realize it was 500 years later. And then Fable 3 is 50 years after Fable 2.
Huh.
Okay. Do you ever play co-op with the Fable games?
Wasn't it in Fable 2 and Fable 3 that it was co-op?
Yeah, it was. The original game didn't have any option to do 2-player.
Yeah, I actually did co-op for I think Fable 3.
I did it with Fable 2.
I can't
Played it
remember if
on
I did it with
one of the
Fable 2 or not.
Xboxes with a friend.
But I honestly enjoyed games. They were fun.
It was a little weird though with Fable. If you brought someone in from another game in Fable 2, like they couldn't like keep anything.
Nope.
But then in Fable 3, they actually are like, oh, maybe if you bring a friend in from somewhere, they can actually like collect gold and experience and stuff. Maybe we should do that. And it's like, yeah, you guys should.
Yeah, like I can't remember who I did it with, played it with in Fable 3. I want to say it was, but one of those two people, it was actually quite fun.
No, apparently there's DLC for Fable 3. Tells you
Really?
how much I've been keeping up with this stuff.
Shit, I think
You
with
know,
the Fable 3 or with the Fable games in general, I want to say at least put like 10, no, I want to say at least over like 300 hours of gameplay into it cuz like those are like the only games that it seems like that you could go through, play it multiple times and have different outcomes each time.
according to Steam, I have 44 hours in Fable 3, which means I most definitely played it through one time. Because I would say about 40 hours is probably enough for a full playthrough.
Roughly, like, that's assuming like if you're doing the main story and some things on the side.
I think I did most of the main stuff for it.
It's like there's a few people because like back in the day there's actually a forum I was a part of, and it was just a forum for Fable, and everybody would talk about how they would either try to go completely good or completely evil. And then I'm sitting there, I'm like, I'm gonna try to stay neutral, just be neutral throughout the entire game, and see if that works. It's really hard staying neutral.
Well, I mean, yeah, they do seem to like they're trying to force you to go one way or the other.
Yeah, like it's like with how I was doing it, like one at one point I would like do something good and then I'd turn around and like do something as equally bad. But then it got to that point where it was like, all right, I do one good thing and it shoots up my alignment crazy. I'm just like, fuck, now I gotta do a lot of bad things. Damn it.
And then there were like like when you reach like certain landmarks, you like go to like that's like Nirvana or whatever, and then they'd like judge you or some shit, and then the gate would open. It was weird.
Oh, yeah. I actually enjoyed Fable going around doing all the doors.
Yeah, the doors were always a big part of the Fable to get them opened up by doing different things for them, so you could the demon doors, so you could get back there and see what you get. The thing is, like some of the demon doors required you to do like really evil things to get in. So if you're playing like a completely good character, it got
Yeah.
kind of difficult.
Yeah, it kind of did. Yeah.
It got a little ridiculous at some points because there was the woman that was in charge of Briarstone, Lady Grey, and it's
Fucking
just
Lady
like,
Grey.
oh, you murdered your sister to take over as the mayor, and she's just like, we'll do smoosh if you don't tell anybody, pinky promise. And I'm like, demon doors behind you, and she's like, yeah, you can only get in there if you marry me. And it's like,
Oh,
I'm
I
a good
married her.
character though.
I married her.
It's like nope. It's like no. You got to cover up you got to cover up the murder of my sister if you want to get to that demon door. It's like, oh, this is brutal, guys.
I married her, went through the demon door, and then I fucking.
I mean, I suppose that's about the closest you can actually get to doing a good thing there.
And surprisingly, if you at least back at the time when I played it, if you actually killed her, it actually counted towards your good side.
I'm sure it does because she was just that horrible of a person. But it's still funny. You essentially have to cover up a murder.
Did you ever use the sex change potion?
No.
Like it was one of those like technically they consider it rare achievement, but in Fable 1, like when you're in like the basement of the manor. Like I think that's what's actually in that demon door is a sex change potion, and it's kind of weird because like at least last I remember, like if you were female, the bottle, the potion would kind of almost resemble a dick, and then if you were a male, it would just essentially resemble like the female sign as the potion.
Are you sure you aren't thinking about Fable 2? Because I'm pretty sure in the original Fable, you were just a dude. Like you didn't get to choose your sex or anything.
No, I'm pretty sure it was
You were just this young
Fable
boy,
1.
and like you were supposed to like go out and like give your sister like a birthday present.
Oh yeah, I am thinking of Fable 2.
You're thinking of Fable 2.
I am
That
thinking of
allowed you to do
Fable
that.
2.
Yeah, Fable 1, it was just that you were that young boy. And then you watch your dad die, but the animation looks terrible. So it just looks like someone just hit you in the head with a shovel, and it's like fantastic. I love these graphics.
Yeah, but they actually cleaned that up in the I think it was the Game of the Year edition.
Like I said, the Game of the Year edition did make some improvements. They tried to fix the AI. I say tried to fix the AI. I didn't say they did fix the AI.
It was that's sort of a tall order to at least.
But yeah, they fixed some things and they got rid of some bugs and got rid of some exploits that people had been using. I would say overall it was an improvement to the game. I think the Anniversary Edition also included the DLC that they had for the game. But now I almost kind of feel like I should go out and buy Fable 2 just so I have the whole collection on Steam.
Honestly, I don't worth it. I don't even know how much it would be.
I don't know if Steam even has. Well, they almost have to, don't they? If I
yeah, if you have
if I got the first and third one. Like I said, I enjoy the Fable games. Let me hit the search button.
Well, I see Fable Anniversary, Fable Lost Chapters.
Fable 2. And then it brings up Destiny 2. Fantastic. Really? Maybe I don't have it because they don't... Huh. Maybe I don't own it because it's just not on Steam for some reason. Yeah, I'm not seeing it pop up.
It appears Fable 3's not.
This is strange because...
Maybe you got those back when they were on, but are no
maybe I did.
on.
Like this is very strange. Now I feel like I've gone down into a strange place here. Fable on Steam. Like, what is going on here, Steam? I don't get it. Why would you not have Fable 2? Fable 2 on Steam. Why isn't Fable 2 on Steam? Yes, why isn't Fable 2 on Steam? Now, apparently there's a discussion. Why isn't Fable 2 on PC? Is there a way to play Fable 2 or Fable 3 on PC? Well, I don't know what people are asking here because I have it on... Because Fable 2 is not available on PC, really. It's not available for PC.
Blocks.
You know, licensing and stuff goes.
Very Microsoft-owned game, though.
Oh, here's some guy. My Fable 3 is on Steam, my DLC through Microsoft Marketplace. Now, how I got to work, I can't remember, but I did. Yeah, I think that's what I did. I think I had to... I think I already... I think to get Fable 3 connected to my Steam account, I had to do it through Microsoft at the time, years ago. And then after I did it, then I was able to connect it to Steam somehow.
Because I find it weird, because like if you go to Walmart and get the Fable games on PC.
Are you sure that Fable 2, though?
That I'm not sure. I know I've seen Fable 3 and seen
this, you know, I think maybe was Fable 2 maybe made, they had like Lionsgate had different people do Fable 2 than Fable 1. And maybe something there with licensing and shit messed everything up. Oh, Xbox exclusive. Fable 3 is no longer available on PC due to running out of keys from games for Windows Live. They said they would fix it several years later. Oof. Wow. So yeah, that apparently this was something that they were aware of as an issue with Windows Live, and then they just never fixed it for Fable 3. But yeah, as far as I can tell, Fable 2 was never even brought over.
I just hopped on, curious if
Yeah,
they have any
apparent Lionsgate
deals.
never Lions had never brought it over, never ported it over to PC apparently. Hey, remember how we were just talking about how everyone says Fable and Fable 2 were really good and Fable 3 was shit? But
Yeah.
then Lions had ports over Fable 3 and Fable to PC, but they don't do it for 2 because they say they won't make enough money. Obviously, people are full of shit when they say they think Fable 2 is good, because if apparently they, they're not dumb. They look at these things and they said, wow, no one's going to buy that shit on PC. And I'm like, So yeah, apparently, you know what they say, money talks and shit walks. So yeah,
Yeah.
2 is obviously the weakest of the series.
Well, that's because it really didn't make sense. Like, and this is coming from somebody that was into the Fable games, so would throw hours and hours into those games. I don't
well,
remember
like I said,
Fable 2.
I didn't even realize it had been 500 years since the first game. Like, they were really vague about how long it had been since the last game. They're just like, oh, your ancestor was a hero. And I'm just like, well, how long ago are we talking about here, boys?
Right.
How long ago was this? Like, they're super vague. And then I'm like looking it up and it's like, oh, 500 years. I'm like, well, why didn't they just fucking say that in the game?
Yeah, like I had no idea that was that long. And like when you get saved by that sorceress lady, it's like, oh, that might be the hero's sister from the first game. And then it's just like,
Yep.
oh nope, it's just some random bitch.
Yep, because that's what they kind of lead you to believe is like, oh, that's the sister from the first game. Like, that's our aunt, isn't it? That's our aunt. And then it's like, no, I'm just an evil sorceress. And it's like, okay. And now I found out, like, yeah, it was 500 years later. I'm like, okay, that makes sense then.
Yeah, so like I understand why like no Fable 2. It's only Fable and Fable 3. And
Like I said, though, I mean, like, I remember I always used to hear people saying, oh my god, Fable was so good and Fable 2 was so good. Fable 3 is shit. And then it's just like, yeah, but everyone seems like they fucking want to play Fable 3 and Fable 2 never got ported.
And nobody, absolutely nobody, talks about the Fable game that was Connect only.
Yeah, they made like two, like, I want to say like 2 other Fable games, but no one remembers them because they were shit.
Yeah, because like it was just Connect based, and all you could do was magic. You couldn't use any weapons or anything. A magic based Fable game. And so I'm just like, oh yeah, I totally want to get that game. There's one game I've been kind of curious about. It's called Albion on, and like I just hear Albion and I just think instantly Fable, but it's not. It's not even a game that's related to Fable at all.
Yep, just using that damn name.
And it's an MMO. It's like, oh, cool. And yeah, it's got very positive reviews, apparently.
I think people were just too hard on Fable 3, an unnecessary hardness on the game.
I agree.
It was fine. There was nothing wrong with Fable 3. I will jump on the Fable 3 defense boat.
Oh, same here. Any day. Anybody wants to argue that Fable 3 sucks, I will fight them.
I kind of wish one of us had been an anti-Fable 3 guy, so we weren't just sitting here jerking each other off.
Right. This is where a third person probably could have came in on the subject.
Well, I mean, what do you do? It's not like we talked about it beforehand and we discussed before we get on the Fable train. Like, right? Hey, do you like Fable?
I didn't think we were even going to land on full until I think you mentioned it.
It just kind of crossed my mind. I just saw it in my Steam list and I was like, huh, we should talk about Fable for a bit. And then it's like 45 minutes later. It's like, oh, I guess all we talked about on the stream is Fable. Whatever. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, there's a lot you could talk about. Except for the second one, apparently, because I don't fucking remember it.
Like I said, it takes place quite a bit after the first game, and there's like crazy bitch. that wants to like kill you, but at first they don't make you think she wants to kill you, like she's trying to help you or something. But then we found out she won't.
And like, I will say this though, the one thing that I remember about the game is when you beat it, it gives you 3 options. Because once you get a new win, you can make a wish, and you have 3 options: a lot of money, your brother and or sister brought back to life, or your dog brought back to life.
I remember this, yeah.
And I'm just like, I, I, I had. I'm bringing back the dog because I have more of a relationship with that dog, or more of a bond with that dog, than I did with the relative or the sibling.
Yeah, because your sibling like dies like right away in the early part of the game, and you're with that dog throughout the whole thing.
Yep, and it's like I'm bringing back the dog. And that was the one game that every playthrough I did, it didn't matter if I was good, evil, whatever, always brought back the dog. Cared less about the wealth because, like I said, in the Fable games, it's really, really easy to make money.
Yeah, like you just work the markets and everything. Like in Fable 1, you essentially just showed up in a place, you brought a crap ton of diamonds or whatever, go to another place, sell them, and then the market crashes. Then you just buy them back again, and it's like, yeah, it's working as intended.
Oh yeah, like it was like in Fable 1 it was easy, and then Fable 2 they like introduced like the capability of buying and renting out homes.
Yeah, and then people just walk into a home, murder everybody in the house, and then they're like, oh, look at this house is for sale now. I mean, you could do that in the first game too, but it wasn't as lucrative. Like, it was just simpler to just play the trading game.
Yeah, because like in the first game, you were able to like essentially buy as many houses as you could. Dude, I had so many Y first Fable game, like it wasn't even me.
Yep, you'd have one in every village.
Yep.
It'd be funny in Fable 2 when you'd marry 2 women, but they'd both be in the same town, and then they'd meet each other on the street and they'd start talking casually.
Yeah, I remember
like, oh, that. Good morning to you, and it's like, good morning to you, and it's just like, okay, so my wives are just not going to notice anything strange about this, huh? Okay.
And then I think it was in the third game that they implemented, oh, if you marry 2 women and they're in the same town and they come across each other, they will talk about you and find out that you're married to the other, kind of deal.
Yeah, I think they did do that eventually.
Because I remember I got caught so many times in Fable 3. I had to kill so many wives. God.
Oh, dark.
I'd want a divorce, and at the time I had a lot of money. I didn't want to lose my money, so it was like, well, I'm gonna go kill a bitch.
It's good to be king, I guess. Because that was a big thing in the third Fable game, is you become king eventually.
Yep.
I like how after you become king, essentially to just be the good, to be good, you just buy up all the property, and then you just use all of your money to just solve all the problems. And then when it comes time to actually talking to the people, and they're asking you like, oh, should we build a brothel or a new schoolhouse? And they're like, we make a lot more money if we build the brothel. But it's like, oh yeah, if I build a brothel, that's the bad thing to do.
Yeah.
So then you just build a schoolhouse if you're playing the good guy.
Because like I in Fable 3, I liked it so much because it gave you that wide variety of choices and options to do throughout the game, whereas the first 2 Fable games, they were kind of limited in the choices you could do. Yeah, you could essentially kill everybody.
I think 3 would have been better if you hadn't been able to buy up all the property,
right?
Because it made it too easy to get to play the good guy then.
Yeah, because like all you had to do is just either convince somebody to sell their house or to move out, and then you just buy the house and rent it back to them, basically, and make money. Yeah, the only thing that I technically did that was bad during my good playthrough was I think I hiked up the tax on the houses. That was it. That's all I did. That was the only bad thing. people hated me for it, but hey, in the end, it saved their fucking lives.
Well, you could adjust how much you tax people in the game. You could have like super high taxes, or you could have like super low taxes. Depending on where you put the taxes at would affect how happy people were with you.
Yeah, like it was only certain areas too that I'd like hike. Like I think it was just like the really rich towns or really rich part of towns. Yeah, those fuckers, they can afford the house. Yeah, their tax is gonna be higher.
And they even seem like they encouraged you to just buy houses, because you could essentially go to like that map, and then from the map you could buy homes from there.
Oh yeah,
So you
I
didn't even
forgot
have
about
to.
that.
So you didn't even have to show up in 3 and walk around to each house individually and buy it. You could just go to the map and be like buying, 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 buying.
Yeah, I actually completely forgot. Like that was one of the most like I spent most of my time
that's
on
just
that
it.
map.
It kind of felt like they were encouraging you to just go out and buy, but because of that, because it was so easy to just buy a property and just essentially just go AFK to collect stupid amounts of money, like you never really had that choice where it's like, oh man, can I build the schoolhouse? But if I build that brothel, that's going to be a lot of money. I could save a lot of lives by building this brothel, because you just didn't have to worry about money.
Like,
It really didn't feel like there was actually that much of a moral conundrum that you would put yourself into, as long as you knew how to play properly, knew how to exploit that money.
Yeah, as long as you knew how to play the market, like the retail market, like you were good.
That's what I'm saying. Like you just had to buy up all the property, and then it just kind of made the whole point of making tough decisions pointless, because you just have this like infinite amount of money flowing in.
And that's why I say anybody that says, "Oh, it's impossible to save everybody." No,
Well, that's
no, it's not.
what Joe did that time. Joe's like, I don't understand how you're supposed to save anybody. But that's just it. As soon as you crack the code, as soon as you understand that all you need to do is just buy up all the property, it kind of makes the whole that kind of pointless.
It's like I'll admit, like my first playthrough of Fable 3, yeah, I wasn't able to save everybody, but I didn't know exactly what I had to do. Per se, all I know is I had to dethrone my brother. That was the only thing I knew I had to. And once I did that, I'm just like, oh shit, now I have to make all these tough decisions that's going to either hurt the country or save the country. Fuck.
Like I said, and if it had stayed that way, I think it would have made the game better. But because it was so easy, like Lions had made it just so stupidly easy to just buy up rental properties and just get stupid amounts of money while just wandering around the world, just like AFK money.
Oh.
It kind of did. After you crack that code, after you crack that and you realize that that's all you had to do, it took out essentially all of the hard choices.
Ooh. Yeah, like
So so there's my complaint for it. Poor game design. They made it too easy to collect stupid amounts of money if you knew what you're doing.
yeah.
Like you said, I mean, your first playthrough, I'm sure it was pretty impactful because you didn't understand. Like Angry Joe was in the same boat. He was like, this game was a pain in the ass because everyone died. Even though I did good things, I did all the good things, and then everyone died because I didn't have any money. This is bullshit. But then you realize, oh, it's not actually that difficult. Just buy up all the rental properties.
Yeah. Well, once I got into my second playthrough, all right, I'm gonna start, renting out a few houses and selling a bunch of stuff, working the fucking market, and then when I finished my second playthrough, I'm like, oh hey, I saved everybody, and now I'm going to this desert area. I hated the desert area, fucking shadow people and
Yeah, you had to cross the ocean and find out where the source of the evil was coming from.
And honestly, it was honestly kind of stupid that you were fighting the darkness. The darkness was the big baddie of the game, and it's like, oh, come on, at least the first two Fable games had an actual villain.
Well, I mean, the third game, the villain kind of was supposed to be your brother, but after you find out that your brother was essentially doing everything he was doing to try to save Albion, kind of like, okay, he wasn't that bad, I guess.
Right. Like once you figured out what was actually going, it's like, oh, I understand now.
It was the big plot twist.
Honestly, though, out of all the Fable games, my favorite villain would have to be Jack from the first one, because he was just the most impactful bad guy there was. At least I think his name was, I think it was Jack of Blades.
Yep, Jack of Blades.
Like, and he just started off as like a small little side boss in the arena tournament, and you come to find out he's like the actual big bad. It's like, oh fuck, I didn't see that coming. I was honestly expecting it to, and at least in the first game, the big baddie to be Thunder or his little sister, which kind of ended up being bad because depending on how you go, she goes the other way.
Mm-hmm. Thunder was annoying. He was such a simp.
Right? He's like, oh,
for Lady Grey.
I'm this
Lady
big
Grey
bad.
loves me. She doesn't love you. And it's like, oh, you're such a simp. Stop it. It's embarrassing.
Like when I had to fight him in the arena, I was genuinely nervous. But then I'm just like, oh, fuck, dude, your sister's harder to fight than you are. Like, Thunder was an easy opponent. I can't remember his sister's name though.
It was something dumb, and she just spent like all of her time just like insulting you and saying you were shit at your job and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whoa, what did I ever do to make you angry? Why are you such a bitch to me?
The one thing that I did love about the first Fable game, and I'm not really sure if this ever carried out to throughout the other games, but I know it was in Fable 1, where they had certain achievements, like if you like do this mission wearing nothing but boots, you'd unlock this achievement, and you can't die.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So like it was like a you had to protect like a farmhouse or a barn or something, bandits, and
yeah, because you could take you could boast. You had the boasts that you could do.
Yeah, the boasts.
And if you completed the boast without dying, you get a bunch of gold.
Yep. And like I loved that. I don't think Fable 2 and Fable 3 continued on with the boasts. Hell, I think the first Fable game was the only one that had the boasts and the trophies from your from boss fights.
Yeah, I think they were. Yeah, the boasts were fun, but they were hard. Some of them were essentially impossible if you picked the wrong boast to combine together.
Oh,
like I'm gonna do this and this and this, and it's like, no, you're not. There's no way.
Like I remember there was one quest where, oh, I'm gonna boast, I'm gonna do this entire mission without using a weapon.
Yeah, just barefist it.
Werewolves and werewolves. You can't hurt the fuckers without fucking a silver augmentation.
Oh yeah, they essentially were almost immortal unless you had a silver augment weapon. They'd just be like, nope, you deal like 1 damage to me a hit, and it's like, great.
And magic barely does anything, especially if you're the type of person like me that doesn't really work up your magic. You just do your strength and health and agility and stamina and all that crap. I rarely ever touched the magic port. Like I only did that stuff after like I beaten the game. I'm like, oh well, I want to like go and side shit that I can do.
Remember after you defeat Jack of Blades and you do the Lost Chapters part, he comes back and he's a dragon.
Yeah. I liked that. I noticed though, the first Fable was the only Fable game to technically get a legitimate expansion.
Yeah, with like the Lost Chapters, right?
Yeah, and at that time, like since it was like still on OG Xbox, you had to buy Lost Chapters separately. And so you're basically buying the first game again and playing through it again to get to the Lost Chapters segment. That was the one and only thing that I actually stupid about the fact. you had to play through the entire game over just to get to the lost.
Mm-hmm. What do you do? That's how those games worked back in the day.
But I still loved every second of it because I got so when I played through Lost Chapters, I went to the one chapel where you had to be really good, and you got oh, like the Heart of Albion or something like that, where you had to
Yeah, the
your
Master Sword.
yeah your good alignment had to be completely maxed out, and you couldn't do anything. Because I found out the sword, it sucks. It actually sucks unless you're fighting Jack. Then it's good because Jack uses the evil version.
Yeah, and that sword's there to counter him.
Yep. That sword is really only good for fighting Jack.
It's funny how we've commented on Jack and like the darkness from Fable 3 and then Fable 2, it's just kind of been like that sorcerer bitch that was blind or something. And that's it.
Yeah, like it's like I I don't think because at least with like Fable 2, like I know she was technically a bad guy, but then she's at the same time she's also the one that grants you the wishes or the wish.
Yeah, I don't even I really don't even remember like the bad guys in Fable 2.
Yeah.
I remember Fable 1 and Fable 3 much more vividly for some reason.
Cause I know there was the mayor in Fable 2. They were kind of still going that mayor route, I think, at that point. But he was just kind of like the side villain ish. And I want to say Jack of Blades, at least his spirit makes an appearance in the game, but I don't remember. Fable 2 just completely slips. I remember more Fable 3 and Fable. But then again, I have played those games relatively recent.
I know that's some of my problem, but there like I just don't remember like any of the Fable 2 people except like the magic chick was kind of a cunt and is the yeah, like I don't remember it. It's an unfortunate side effect of these games being so old. It's been so long since I played them. But yeah, generally people do say Fable 3 is like a worse version of Fable 2. That's kind of like the general complaint.
Yeah.
But I felt like they were different enough games that like I'm somewhat hesitant to
Cause like
do that.
if I'm not
Since Fable
mistaken,
3 had the whole thing with, making major decisions about how to save everybody since you were kind of like leading the country, and there was nothing like that in any of the previous games.
if I'm not mistaken, like I'm not sure if you have it, but then again, I don't. But if you had like the Xbox Game Pass, I believe all the
Oh, I'm sure they are. But that's just 2 is not on PC. Like it's just nowhere. It just doesn't exist. But yeah, I'm sure if you went to Xbox, you could still play and find all 3 games and play them relatively easily.
because like I believe I like that's how I Game Pass because I have Game Pass Ultimate, which
Yeah, the whole Xbox stuff is kind of weird. All that. Well, first it was Windows Live or Windows something, and that kind of like was what people used, or it was connected to Xbox, but then they stopped it. God, it was a mess.
yeah, like I don't know.
It was an absolute mess.
Oh, I've been like looking at this for a little. Did you ever get around to? Did you ever play Doki Doki Literature Club?
I don't think so. I have it on my list. I just haven't actually installed it to play it.
Last I checked, it was a free game.
I mean, I'll install it now and play it at some point.
It's like I literally when I got it 3 years ago almost, I sat down and I played it for almost 10 hours straight. That's how involved I actually got with, to the point where I had it beat in less.
Nerd.
And I know if I ever bring this up, I'm pretty sure if it was ever brought up to Travis, he he would want me to continue playing Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy. Oh,
We're gonna have to play a Getting Over It stream at some point.
dude, like, oh, I don't think I would be able to headache that, honestly. Like,
Oh, that sounds hilarious. We'll all do it together and rage quit.
that would, I think at least on my channel, I think I got like 3 videos up of it, and I'm just like, no, no, I can't do this. I can't. It was like giving me like stress headaches.
Nope.
It was bad.
Sounds awesome. We're gonna do it.
I did hear, I'm not sure if it's actually gonna get, but I did hear that they were talking another Knights of the Old Republic game, or remastering the original Knights of the Old Republic. And I hope they do. If they could clean up those graphics, make it look a little bit better, oh, I think that'd be a fun game.
There's a lot of those old games like that. If they just made remastered versions, they'd make it just a killing.
Yeah, because like remaster a game, put it back out on sale for like $30. You're making money.
Or you could go down the Final Fantasy VII route and then be like, hey, we're going to release the game. And then be like, psych, we're not. The guys we were having to make it, like, they messed something up and we're going to go to like a new company.
Yeah, I heard about that. Isn't that why it got pushed back for the release?
Yep. It sounded like they had at least like a lot of the basic like stuff done. And then they backpedaled because there was some shit going on. And did they ever actually finish releasing it then?
I think so.
Like,
it got released, I want to say, back in July. It was around the same. It released a week before the Resident Evil 3 remake.
all I know is that they'd been horsing around for so long that I just stopped caring when they're like, we're gonna get the game released, and it's like, oops, sorry guys, we're not gonna get the game released because reasons. And I was like, okay, well, F you guys, I'll see you in a couple years. I'll buy it if the game reviews well. Because I know they were like gonna completely redo the whole battle system, and I'm like, whoa, I thought you guys were just like making Final Fantasy VII but with like better graphics. What's this talk about just completely redoing the whole battle system? That's not Final Fantasy VII. What a mess. Oh, I can get the standard edition, the deluxe edition, or first class edition, because that's how things work nowadays. You just don't give you the freaking game. What an effing joke.
I could have sworn the remake released, right?
I think it did, but come on, Final Fantasy VII Remake shop, Amazon. Is it out? According to Amazon, it is out.
Oh yeah, because it released around the same time Resident Evil 3 remake did. In correction, it was back in April. So I think the Final Fantasy 7 remake released like late March. It was like a week before Resident Evil 3, so
It tells you how little I've cared that I didn't even follow up on it. Like I said, they were gonna release it, and then they're like, "Oh, we have to delay it," and then I just stopped caring. By that point, I should go read see some actual reviews for it, see if they didn't blotch it, because that was my big thing. I'm like, they're gonna F it up. They're gonna totally F this up.
I should really play Resident Evil 3 again. Haven't played it since April.
Yeah, it looks like it's out. I'm seeing before you buys and reviews and stuff. Yeah, 7 months old, 3 months old. Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 update revealed. That's what that's what it was. This is why I wasn't that excited, because they're like, we're gonna do the remake. I'm like, cool. And then we're gonna make it into parts, because the original, was like on 3 or 4 discs.
Yeah.
So like, we're gonna make Final Fantasy VII. We're gonna make it on 3 or 4. We're gonna make it in multiple parts. I'm like, so you fuckers can sell each part separately, and then make me pay $60 a piece. I don't think so. Fuck you,
Yeah,
Square Enix, you money grubbing pieces of shit.
that was a stupid thing for you. A lot of people were pissed about that.
Yep, now I remember why I wasn't jumping on this boat.
Oh, and I see that Code Vein is one of the games on your wish list, huh?
Probably. I got a lot on my wish list.
Yeah, like just about.
Wasn't one of the big controversies is that Tifa's boobs were too big, and then so they had to do a reduction.
Yes, yeah, that was the, yeah, yep. Because you know the generation now, they get offended by everything. So
This is just it. The people that are going to be buying the game are not that generation. They're my generation, and we don't give
I'm
we
also
don't give two shits.
generation.
If anything, we want her boobs to be bigger. My generation does.
Like that's the one thing I kind of hate about a lot of like games and movies that are coming out these days, because now they have to be especially careful with what they release. It could be too offensive.
Everything's
Like,
offensive, and those people don't play those games anyway, so they should stop worrying about that.
Like the people that wouldn't even know about the game, like they get offended, and it's like, motherfucker, shut the fuck up.
Apparently, they've already had a patch for Final Fantasy VII, the remake. They had to patch the game to fix issues. Oh, the Final Fantasy VII remake Part 2 has been affected by the COVID. Hearing a lot of excuses, a lot of goddamn excuses, boys, about why these goddamn games are. What this is why I just don't care. This is why I don't care. I'll come back in 3 or 4 years when they have all of the parts released, and I can just buy like the whole trilogy or duology or whatever the heck they're going to call it, like the complete remastered Mega Ultimate Edition, and just get everything. Then I'll just play it, and I'll get it for like $10. I won't have to deal with all this stupid drama.
Because eventually they're going to come out with a like bundle pack.
The bundle.
And once all 3 or 4 parts are out, and it's going to be like, oh, you can get all the parts for this price. And be like, okay, deal.
Yeah, and then I'll buy it. That's when I'll jump on that goddamn boat. Until then, I don't think so. I'm willing to wait a couple more years, because they've made me wait how many years?
Right.
But the thing is that scares me, because I always wanted a Final Fantasy IX remake, because that shit was dope. And now it's like I saw what they were doing with 7. I'm like, I don't know if I want a Final Fantasy IX remake.
Well,
after the shit they pulled with 7.
Apparently there's been talk about a Final Fantasy X remake.
There's no reason to ever remake Final Fantasy X. That shit can go die in a fire.
Yeah. If anything, remake 10-2. I'll be okay with a 10-2 remake. Even though I found it kind of stupid with the whole dress
like,
thing.
I don't even want to get into more Final Fantasy. Like, Final Fantasy X requires its own, like an entire, like, 4 hours to go through that with a fine-tooth comb to explain the shit show that was Final Fantasy X.
Yeah, and like honestly,
I'm not up for it tonight. I can't do it.
No.
I don't have enough alcohol in me to do it, and we need more people. Trav would want to get on that. Like,
definitely.
He will help me eviscerate that game. We will tag team it.
Oh.
We will Eiffel Tower that game. We will.
Hey,
you won't even have to do anything. You'll sit back there and you'll be with a beer or whatever adult beverage you want, and you'll just watch me and Trav 4 hours talk, and then at the end you'll be like, well, that was a great talk. Thanks, boys.
Yep, I'll just be sitting there every once in a while. You guys are just here slurping up a can and just be like, all right, I'm just here to listen, guys.
That's all you'll need to do because that will be a thing we'll do here in the future on Trash Talk. We'll do a complete episode dedicated to nothing but shit talking about Final Fantasy X. So I just don't want to waste any bullets. Well, we can move on to something else.
Have you ever played Monster Hunter?
I didn't even know they had games. Wasn't it like an anime?
No, it actually
I might be thinking of something completely different, like my Monster Hunters.
Monster Hunter, well, it's called Monster Hunter World, but apparently it's a game that was originally
I know. I googled it and I saw the first image. I'm like, okay, I know what you're talking about now, because Monster Hunter is kind of a generic kind of a generic name, but yeah, I know what Monster Hunter is.
Well, they're making a movie.
Oh boy.
And I saw the trailer for it like a month or two ago, and in the trailer title it just says Mila Jovovich's Monster Hunter. And I'm just sitting there, I'm like, oh great, they're going to kill another game by making it into a fucking movie just like they did with fucking Resident Evil. Oh, that's another one. Another one I want to like get on a topic of. But
yeah, we'll have to review all the Resident Evil movies. That's gonna be a train wreck, and it's right there.
Like that, I have so many issues, and I'm a big Resident Evil fan. I don't know if you are that into Resident Evil like I am, but
I played the original game like back when it was like on the original PlayStation many years ago.
I would highly recommend Resident Evil and Resident Evil 4. And then Resident Evil 7. Fuck 5 and 6. I don't really much care for Resident Evil 2, but then again, like it was like honestly one of my least favorite, and people are gonna hate me for saying that, but it wasn't my favorite Resident Evil game. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's actually one of the bundles or franchise sales is the
Resident Evil is the one where it looks like a giraffe was getting blown by a dude, wasn't it?
That was Resident Evil 6.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It does. It looks like a giraffe is getting a blowjob from somebody.
Oh shit.
I mean, look at it. Look at the image. Does that not look like a giraffe is getting blown?
Oh, it does.
After you see it, you can never unsee it.
I've seen it. I've seen it. Yeah.
Are you looking at it?
Yeah, like I've seen it, and I do agree.
Yep, it was pointed out to me many years ago. I was like on Reddit or was it on 4chan, and some guy's like, Resident Evil 6 looks like a giraffe getting a blowjob, and I'm like, so I looked at it, I'm like, okay, I can never unsee it. Now from this day forward, it's just gonna be a giraffe getting a blowjob.
Oh my god, they have the Resident Evil Biohazard Collector's Pack for $42. 34 items.
People want to make that sweet money.
Like I could do without the like skins, texture packs, like the games. That's where it's at. Fuck all the other extra bullshit.
Like I'm sweet.
I'm just interested in the costumes and whatnot now.
You don't want to dress up all your characters all pretty and cosmetics. Disappointing.
Like if you ever like want to try it, I do recommend the Resident Evil and Resident Evil 7. But that's just like, and if you want to honestly save the money. Oh wait, never mind. I don't think I have a hard. No, I don't. I thought I had a hard copy on PlayStation, but I think I just did.
Like I said, I played the original many years ago, and I think that's the only one I ever actually played. I just remember the dogs being a real pain in the ass.
Oh yeah,
like it was awful.
Like I've actually been wanting to sit down and like play all of the Resident Evil. They've all been either remaked or remastered. They're all on Steam. Like I've been wanting to just sit down and play them all, whether just for fun or for a channel or what, because I love the Resident Evil games. Formula 1 game franchise? Fuck that. Now, have you heard anything on Half-Life Alyx?
I know it exists, I guess.
Because, like, I've been kind of curious, just because of the fact that, like, I enjoyed the Half-Life games, what I was able to play of them. But then when I heard Half-Life Alyx was coming out, I'm not sure about this, and I haven't even watched really any gameplay on it.
I believe I own most of the Half-Life games because it was part of one of the bundles I brought
Yeah,
years ago.
because like wasn't it like a part of like the Val or whatever?
Yeah, it was something like that. I know it was one of those bundles, and so I got like all of the old Half-Life games, like even the more obscure things, because it's like Half-Life 2, and it's like Half-Life Deathmatch, Half-Life Episode 1, Half-Life Episode 2, Half-Life Lost Coast, Half-Life Blue Shift, Half-Life Deathmatch Source, Half-Life Opposing Force, Half-Life Source. Yeah, just like it's like everything, like all of the old Half-Life stuff
Yeah,
came
right
as part of that
now, if
bundle.
I wanted to, I could buy the Half-Life complete bundle for $8, and it's originally $60, $59.92. It's 88% off
Right now.
Yeah, yeah. Like it was usually 40% off. I'm like, no, scratch that. 88% off. Oh, oh my God! I could get Team Fortress Classic for 99 cents. No way.
I believe Trav still plays the crap out of Team Force for Force Classic.
Like I don't think I could get into the original Team Fortress. I have played Team Fortress 2, but that's just been like a once in a while thing. And for a while there, I was playing Unreal Tournament, launcher for it. The launcher for the game launcher for Fortnite, Unreal remastered or remade or whatever. I wonder how much money do I have?
You're broke.
Don't say that.
You have no money, no money, no money. Well,
I had to reply to him.
okay. Guess that means I'm in charge of the stream now, boys.
Oh, I think.
You think you can? You think?
I mean, what's $8?
Hey man, $20. $20.
Because like the complete bundle comes with episode 1, episode 2, named. Also includes Team Fortress Class. I could honestly do without that one. If I could remove, I'd be happy. Can't. Kind of depressing. Like, can Team Fortress Classic be considered a Half-Life game?
I guess.
Like, come on now. Like, unless
Don't
like,
ask me. I'm not in charge of.
because wasn't there a game that was like made from a Half-Life 2 mod?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. There was. What was the game?
I want to say it was like DayZ or something.
Yeah, it became pretty famous.
Or no, that like
And then after,
what was that game? But I know there was a game that was made after the Half-Life.
it's not the only one. It's happened to a few of those different games, and then like afterwards, the lawyers came in and they're like, "Oh, we don't really like how all these people have been coming in and modifying our game to the point where it's like not even recognizable as their game anymore. So we're gonna shut all that shit down, and then we're gonna copyright strike everybody and claim all this stuff." And it's just like, ooh, yeah, they can get pretty brutal. Some of these different game developers have, because that's what it was with was it Dota that time?
Yeah, I
Was
believe
like
so.
was a mod of like something Blizzard had going on, and then they essentially, it became so popular that they just broke off and they're just like, hey, we're just gonna like do this ourselves and make like our own, and they just like made like an actual game and stopped using like Blizzard assets completely.
Yeah, I believe so.
And then it became super big, and then they made a crap ton of money, and then Blizzard's like, oh, we can't let that happen again.
Nope.
And then
That
they
would have been
lured the
bad.
shit out of everything.
I'm actually kind of happy. I'm like looking through these Steam the Steam Autumn, finding some games that I can get that I actually been interested in playing, but otherwise are too fucking expensive.
Well, that's what the sales are for, to get you to give up all your money to the gods at Steam.
I wonder if my computer would be able to handle Doom Eternal.
If you're not sure, that's a bad sign right there. If you have to question it.
Well, like I normally use I'll go online. I'll go to a site called Can I Run It? And it's basically a site where you can type in a game and be like, and it'll like. And normally I don't have any issues because I was expecting, with how old my computer is, I was expecting to like be able to play Shadowland, the new Resident Evil, but I can. I'm shocked. Oh, come on, Dragon Age. Why can't you do a fucking bundle?
Oh, yeah, the Dragon Age games have been out. A lot of them have been out long enough.
Because, like, with all the fucking games here, Inquisition, Origins, Ultimate, Dragon Age 2, and then Dragon Age 2 DLC bundle, we could just add that all together. It's going to come out to almost $40. Just do it that way, damn it.
I mean, they might for the winter sale.
Oh, dude, I can't wait for the winter.
That's where it's really at. Like, yeah. Honestly, whenever, like I said, the spring and fall sales just feel like they just kind of tack it on there and throw it out. It's the winter and summer sales are where the big stuff goes down.
It's really.
I think I hear a doggaroo.
Yeah, I think my roommates are outside. Either that or he's outside and they walked away from him. That tends to happen.
I've lucked out. My dog has been rather silent tonight.
Oh, come on. Why can't the BioShock do a bundle pack either? Like, all their games are also fucking cheap. Then a lot of my friends have been telling me, hey, you should get the Dark Souls game. And I'm like, yeah, if I want to get extremely pissed off, I'll play Dark Souls.
Yeah, if you can handle some rage, you don't want to play those games.
Like I've played like OG Dark Souls way back in the fucking day. I'm not about ready to anger myself by
good times.
Now he's trying to bark at my door.
Thankfully, like I said, I've been looking out. My dog's been pretty good tonight. Haven't had any issues.
If he's like off in the distance barking in a different direct area, I don't care. He comes right up to the door and just starts.
Might just leave my door open for mine. He can come and go.
Well, you see, I would, but my roommates, they kind of not. And kind of like at least somewhat wording. And yeah, this is just trash talk. Too terribly worried about it.
Yep, it's just us being filthy casuals.
Yep, filthy casuals. We are garbage people.
So you about ready to wrap it up then?
Yeah.
Since your dog is apparently trying to kamikaze.
Yeah, it might be a good idea to wrap things up here.
I guess any closing comments? You want to like shill your Let's Play channel or anything?
I mean, not really. I don't really got any good enough content up to.
Yeah.
Say anything about that.
I was just wondering, if you had anything new that you thought maybe people, if they wander in, would be interested in seeing. I don't got nothing going on, but at some point I probably will activate myself and make a proper channel.
Yeah, like I do know. Probably if I do Let's Plays on my channel, I'll probably also upload it to our channel. There's like that extra content. I'll be doing double uploads.
Well, if I eventually activate myself, I probably won't be talking anime or video games or anything. I'll probably do something awful like politics, which will be totally separate from this.
Ooh, yeah, that definitely been interesting.
I don't like to cross the beams.
Yeah, no.
They warn people not to cross the beams, but then people try to cross the beams and it just gets sucky. So I might chill it occasionally, but at the end of like a thing, but I'll probably have like a little disclaimer saying this has nothing to do with video games and stuff. This is something awful. It's a hive of scum and villainy called politics. Enter at your own risk.
I do have kind of a funny story.
Okay.
The other night, it was the night before Shadowlands was. I was playing while I was in Ice Crown. I was just farming rare spawns like usual, trying to get decent gear, you know. And then out of nowhere, just somebody in the chat just started talking politics.
Oh, that's normal.
They just said Trump sucks. That was it. And everybody just started going off. And there was just one dude in the chat being like, come on guys, we're playing WoW to get away from the real world. Why bring the real world into WoW? And he was trying to get people off the subject.
I feel bad for him.
And then I'm like, all right, I'm going to help this guy out. I jump in general chat, and I'm like, guys, only idiots talk politics in games. Like, if you want to talk politics, go somewhere else. Leave politics out of WoW. And somebody's like, well, what about in-game politics? And I'm just like, you know what? In-game politics? That's cool. It at least has to do with the game. And then somebody was like, Garrosh was the worst war chief ever.
I love it. I'm
just like, I mean, you're not wrong. But, you know.
And then someone says, no, Sylvanas was the worst of the war chiefs. And then there's just this huge debate about who was the worst war chief.
World of Warcraft. That's another thing we.
So, calling it then?
Yeah. Okay. I am Bill, and this has been Trash Talk.
I'm Terry, and this is the end of the world as we know it.